In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace a rear knuckle on a Subaru Forester. It's located behind the rear wheel. Once you raised and supported your vehicle safely, you need to remove your 5 lug nuts. These are a 19mm nut. And remove your wheel. After you remove your wheel, you need to remove your brake caliper bracket from your knuckle. You can do that by removing these two 14mm bolts. Slide your caliper and bracket off your rotor and put it off to the side. Now we're onto the front side. You need to slide your rotor off towards you. Put that off to the side. Now you want to remove your axle nut. That's a 32mm. Make sure your axle moves freely. We need to remove our emergency brake shoes. They are held on by a bunch of springs. There's 2 springs at the top. You can use a tool that removes these safely. Like that. Now we're on to our other spring. And then remove our shim. Spread our emergency brake apart and remove our inner shim. Our spring fell off this side. That's where that spring goes. Now if you move down to the bottom, there's a spring here. You need to remove that by prying it out and down. Right next to that is our adjuster. Just pull your brake shoes apart a little bit and slide your adjuster out. Now you can remove your pin here by holding it in the back with your finger, clamping that, pushing and twisting. Then you can push your pin through from the front to the back. And do the same thing on the other side. Remove your left shoe. Push your pin out the back. Now you need to remove your emergency brake cable from your bracket. You can take a pair of pliers, install it on the ball. Take a pair of cutters, put them around the spring, push up and hold. Remove your pliers, then remove your bracket. We need to remove our ABS sensor bracket, which is held on by 2 12mm bolts. Now we come down to our lower control arm where it meets our knuckle. You need to remove this bolt. It is a 17mm bolt. If the bolt doesn't want to come out, you can use a wrench behind it like that and walk it out. Once we remove our bolt, we want to pull down on our control arm and pull it out of the way. You have a 12mm bolt that you need to remove for your ABS sensor. Now you want to remove your ABS sensor from your backing plate. You can do that by taking a punch or carefully taking a pair of pliers and turn it side to side. When trying to remove our sensor from our backing plate, ours came out in two pieces, so we're going to have to replace our ABS sensor. Right where your emergency brake goes through the back of your backing plate, to hold that cable in, there's supposed to be a C-clip right here. Ours is so badly rotted it is missing. So if you take a pair of pliers, twist and pull, you can remove your e-brake cable. At this time we can take our brake caliper, just get it out of the way before we remove our lower bolt. Onto the back side of your knuckle, you have this long bolt here. You need to remove that. That is a 19 millimeter. After tapping it out with a rubber mallet, you can take your wrench and walk your bolt out. Now you need to remove your two 19 millimeter bolts that mount your strut to your knuckle. Now slide your knuckle straight out, and there's your knuckle. Take your knuckle, slide it over your axle, then swing it up and install your strut bolts. Once you install your nuts, tighten your bolts. Now we're on the back side. You have your long through bolt. You want to install that through your lower control arms and your knuckle. Install your nut and tighten it down. Now you reinstall your emergency brake cable. Make sure it's all the way in. This is the clip that was missing on ours. Make sure it's secure. Now you're going to do your lower control arm. You're going to swing that up. You can take a pry bar and move this whole assembly forward to line up your holes. And install your bolt. Install your nut and tighten it down. Before we torque any of our suspension bolts down, we want to get our vehicle at ride height, so I'm using a bottle jack. Now you can torque your bolts. Your lower control arm is 50 foot-pounds. Your through bolt is 55 foot-pounds. Then your two strut bolts are 148 foot-pounds. Now remove your jack. Take a pair of pliers, clip it onto your emergency brake cable at the end. Take a pair of cutters, slide it over the spring, push up, Hold the pliers and install your e-brake lever. Before we install our shoes onto our backing plate, you have 6 pads that the shoes sit on. You want to put a little bit of grease on those pads. Install our pins through the back side of the backing plate. Install it in the hole on the shoe. Install our spring and our cap. Do the same with the other shoe. Now we're going to install our top plate. Big section always goes to the rear of the vehicle. Once that's installed, install your shim and your springs. Last part to install is our emergency brake shoe adjuster. That comes in 3 pieces. You have a piece on one end, and the other end unscrews. You want to clean these threads, put a little bit of anti-seize on them, and reinstall. Clean off the excess. Now you can install your adjuster. Your adjustment always goes to the rear. Now install your spring. You can install your axle nut and tighten it down. Before you install your rotor, you're going to put some high heat paste here. Install your rotor, then reinstall your caliper. Make sure your brake hose is straight and not kinked. Then tighten your bolts. Then you want to torque those two at 38 foot-pounds. Now you can install your ABS sensor bracket to the lower control arm. And then tighten those two 12mm bolts. Now you can install your speed sensor into your backing plate. Install your 12mm bolt and tighten it. And that bolt gets torqued down at 24 foot-pounds. Now you want to torque your axle nut. You can do this two ways. You can have a helper sit in your driver's seat, put their foot on the brake so this doesn't spin, but if you don't have any help, you can take a pry bar like that and do it yourself. Install your wheel, slide it over your lug nut studs, and install your lug nuts. You want to tighten those down in a star pattern. And those get torqued down to 65 foot-pounds. You want to torque those in a star pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.